Hi, and welcome back to the Growing Good Ones YouTube channel. My name is Christina, and I am growing here in Zone 7B in Virginia. And I just want to take a moment to say thank you to all of my new subscribers. I really appreciate you following my journey as I grow through this 2024 season. I'm really excited because last week, if you tuned into my video, I showed you basically all of my blank space that I have that I hope to transform into luscious, beautiful garden space this year. And this past week, now that we're on to week 1, I am really excited to show you all the progress we made. As you can see behind me, we started on our second raised garden bed. We're still working on that, but I'll show you that in a little more detail here in a second. And we also did a lot of work in some of our other blank spaces. So I'm really excited to show you how far we've come, and let's go take a look. All right, so we did get our second raised bed framed out, and I actually was able to get some mulch down and one layer of dirt already, but we do have a lot more space to go. But we have secured it here with some rebar. When I was filling it before, I didn't have that ready yet. We had to make a trip to the hardware store in order to get the rebar. So now that that's in, I'm gonna finish filling this and hopefully start getting it planted. Unfortunately, this week, our 10-day forecast is still projecting to be quite cold. There's actually a frost advisory for tonight. So I've been holding off on putting any of my frost hardy sap seedlings in the ground yet. I've got lots of peppers and tomatoes and such that I want to start. I also have some beans that I really want to get started, but I just want to wait until there's just a few days left until I think I can really unleash the seeds on the garden. If you tuned in last week, you would have seen in my video that my bags of soil were stacked in a nice pile. I've actually laid them out where I want a path to be for the purpose of smothering the grass. I just find that by laying the soil bags on top, it actually kills the grass pretty quickly, almost within a week, or at least damages it so much that I'm able to come in and either hoe and disturb the roots, or just put some, I typically just put paper bags down and cover it with mulch in order to build some paths. And we've actually gotten quite a bit of paths built just in this week. I've been able to clean this bed out a little bit. I framed it up with some nice paths made out of brown paper bags and wood chips. And so I like to cover my rows just to keep the weeds at bay. In the previous 2 years, I didn't do anything to prevent the weeds, and it just got out of control. So this year, I'm really on a mission to kind of like make this a really nice space where the weeds aren't in, and it's a nice mulch path, kind of a sanctuary. I still have my lettuce jamming. I was saying I might give it another week or two. I think it's still gonna survive this week, but maybe not much more after this week before I kind of take it out. But we have, I think this is a Merlot. It's really nice soft lettuce. This is a black-seeded Simpson. And I forget the name of this one, but they're doing fantastic. I think this is a red romaine lettuce. This one here was a Paris Island romaine. I have some really nice heirloom lettuce here that just has awesome characteristics, just like neat patterns on their leaves. And same with this one. This one is it's just fantastic. It's so pretty. The leaves are nice and soft. It makes for a wonderful salad. It's just really hard to kind of think about letting so much of it go. I have pulled out the ones that clearly bolted, but these other ones that are still kind of lingering, they're still getting some life left. As you can see in our new raised bed, we may have mismeasured and this one log came way too long, so we do need to get the chainsaw and kind of cut that off. We did put a new path in here. We are smothering the grass with brown paper bag and just wood chips, and so this is a new path also beside this bed that we've laid. I have some little spinach that is continuing to thrive. And actually with the hoop house, I think I have decided to leave the hoop house here. And in leaving my hoop house up, I'm actually creating some shade in the garden because not everything needs all day sun. Spinach is probably one of those things that is a cooler crop, and it prefers, or it doesn't need like full sun every day, or else it's just gonna bolt really quickly. So I may get one more round of spinach here if I'm able to keep it shaded and cool before it really starts warming up here. I feel like the spring in this area, it just goes from 30, actually I know for a fact looking at my 10-day forecast, we're going to have a low of like 36 and a high of 86. So within a week, it's gonna swing 50 degrees. My garlic is still jamming. It's doing great. It's thriving. And I think I forgot to show you guys this last week, but I did just here on the edge, I planted some Detroit red beets, and these little guys are actually popping up, and I love them. They're so cute. So hopefully in this just like little offshoot of a section, I get to have some great beets. My strawberry towers are starting to take off. I think last week if you tuned in, my 5th strawberry tower was still in the making. So obviously on the last one, you can see that the strawberries aren't as large as they are on the ones here in the front where they're a bit older. These are Ozark strawberries. I bought these strawberries from Gurney's, and I bought them as 1-year bare roots. And given that I'm growing them in such a shallow container, you know, I think I mentioned before, like these containers just came from the dollar store. I think I was able to build these 5 towers for like 40 or 50, I guess 50 bucks. So given all that, I do plan to harvest my strawberries from them this year because they've already had a year to establish their roots. Inside my hoop house, I made progress with ripping out my winter crops. All of my bolted brassicas has kind of been taken out. I have some wonderful looking, this is black-seeded Simpson lettuce. I mean, they just look fantastic. My black-seeded Simpson is something I'll be eating all week. I do have a couple heads of lettuce here, and I do have this beautiful dino kale that is just doing wonderful right now. I think it's going to be great in salad with some of this beautiful lettuce, and top it with some chicken, and I've got lunch for the week for sure. In the fall, I tried to plant some beets, and I tried to do beets on either side of this little row here. You can see they sporadically kind of took off here and there, but they are starting to, like if you can see, they are starting to do something. We'll see if I get any roots off of them or not. I do have some carrots peeking out here and there. Again, I think I planted these in September. They're still pretty small, but they are doing something. I tell you what, I have tried to grow carrots so many times, and it's just one of those things that I've really struggled to grow. It seems like it would be so easy, but every time I try to grow a carrot, it hardly grows at all, or if I do get anything, it just tastes kind of rubbery once I get it inside and get it made. I'm still gonna keep trying. Probably in the fall. Like these are just some of the leftover plants that are still in the greenhouse that are growing from my winter garden. But here pretty soon, I'm gonna be taking all of this out and putting my peppers in. And I have specifically decided to keep the hoop house up just to grow peppers this year inside the hoop house, because Last year we actually had a lot of hornworm damage to my peppers. They were more on my peppers than on my tomatoes. So this year, in order to combat that, I'm going to try growing them here in this hoop house. So right outside the hoop house, we did make progress here in this blank space. I was telling you last week how we had the silage tarp still on this area, and now if you can see way back in the back, it's moved to the back where my melons and corn and such will go. And I've started putting in some more of my infrastructure here. I was able to harvest some compost from my deep run chicken bed, and I mixed it with these bags of soil that I got from Costco to create kind of this raised or hilled up mound that I plan on probably growing a bunch of beans here. And as I was mentioning, we are under a frost advisory for tonight, so I am holding off on putting any seeds in the ground. I'm so anxious to get seeds in the ground, but I don't want to jump the gun too much and waste the seeds because I only have so many packs of seeds that I have available for growing. So I need to really make sure that I don't damage the plants by putting them in too soon because I'm so excited. So my plan here, beside my row that I've been building, is kind of the same method I've been telling you about, is basically either cardboard or brown paper bag covered by wood chip mulch. So this next week I need to get in here and weed this. Planters that you see behind me, I'm gonna put flowers, and maybe even along the edge of the hoop house I'm gonna put some marigolds or any sort of flower here on the side that to just make it a more beautiful space and a more pleasurable, relaxing space for me to escape to. We have a blueberry blue crop here, and it does have a few tiny little flowers on it. The one behind it is a Patriot blueberry. Here in the flower garden beside the house, my Heinekenth and my Narcissus bulbs are starting to pop. That's one in the Narcissus. And another one. The fact that I'm having any growth from these at all is amazing, because I actually bought these bulbs from Costco in the fall, and I think it was recommended that they be planted in the fall to be overwintered, and it was just a fail on my part, inefficiency. I didn't actually get them in until maybe like 3 weeks ago. So I'm really excited that they seem to have survived. They were in my basement storage area all winter long. So perhaps that helped, perhaps it didn't. I do feel like I've lost a couple of them, especially the Heinekenths. But the Narcissus seem like they're really doing well and holding up. So any flowers that I get is just a bonus, because I feel like I did my best to kind of kill these bulbs. So what you're looking at is my overgrown front garden, and these beautiful white flowers are actually boysenberries that come from this one boysenberry plant. I got 2 boysenberry plants from Baker Creek, and I didn't have a place. This is another inefficiency. I didn't have a place in mind to put it, so I just put it in a container in my front porch, and it completely overgrew. The container spilled into my front garden and has completely taken over. And I don't have the heart to rip it out, especially since there's so many flowers on it at this point. I'm just gonna let it fruit for the year, and hopefully in the fall I can get it under control and take back my front yard. But until then, I'm letting it roll. And honestly, I want the berries, so it gets to live here until I'm able to harvest all these wonderful boysenberries. So I do have a couple of trays out here that I'm trying to kind of harden off, or just, get out in the sun for a little bit. This is my pepper tray. I have about 18 different varieties of peppers that are destined for the hoop house. I did start some melons and zucchini You can see some of my zucchini. I swear I started them like just a few days ago and they just have exploded. So I'm already probably gonna need to pot those up probably tonight. And then I have some other, flowers that I've just put in the, that I've just kind of started sowing the seeds. I wish I had the ability to start more seeds in a greenhouse or something sooner, but I am pretty maxed out. I have my tomatoes inside. I think I have like 3 or 4 trays of tomatoes that are inside in one of my sunniest windows, and that pretty much maxes me out. Once I have the tomatoes and the peppers, I don't really have any other space for seeds starting indoors. So I really have to wait until it's just about the time or just direct sow into the ground. My irises are coming up. This is the first to bloom. It's beautiful, and I have many other blossoms that are just getting close to actually blooming here in my front yard. And once they bloom, it is just going to be so lovely. Here in the front, my apricot tree is doing wonderful. This is actually a gold-caught dwarf apricot, and it has probably about like 50 little apricots. This will be the first time that any of our fruit trees have actually produced any actual fruit. So I'm very excited. We do have peaches, apples, and cherries and plums down in our orchard. However, our orchard is pretty sad at the moment. These apricots were one of the few trees that we actually got gated or caged in, and our little trees are suffering terribly, I hate to say, because they are just candy to the deer. So this week I really hope that we're able to cage in the rest of our fruit trees to help them from getting totally destroyed by the deer. Mint. We inherited that little patch of mint from the people who owned the house before us, and it was such a blessing. Although I will say mint just completely spreads. So the little area that it's in, it's kind of contained so far. It does try to go out into the yard a bit, but luckily we just cut it back with a lawnmower every time we mow. But oh, it's so nice to have like established mint and be able to cut it and put it in your tea. I've made mint jelly, and it actually pairs wonderful. Mint jelly and like pork chops are wonderful, or pork loin or something, any type of pork. A little sour, like some sour cream. So if you have pork chops and you put some sour cream with like French onion soup mix that up together, put it on top of your pork chops, and then put some fried onions on top. You cook that up and then you pair it with some of your homemade mint jelly. It is fantastic. It's one of my favorite meals. Here in the back garden, we have the silage tarp working its magic to suppress any of the weeds and give us a fresh blank space. I usually tend to put corn and melon in the back. I might also do some beans this year just to help improve the soil. Thanks for tuning in this week to see the progress we made. We've been working hard every day to bring you guys a good update, or at least show you the progress that we were able to accomplish. I know that the space still looks pretty bare right now, but it's good to mark or to show the barren space so that when this beautiful garden is in full swing come June and July, you're able to look back and see how far we have come. And it's a journey that I am so looking forward to sharing with you this year. Thanks so much, and see you next time.